Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. This is Courtney, the Marketing Coordinator here at AIM. Today's webinar is recorded and will be later posted on our website, which does mean that all attendees will be automatically muted so that we can get a quality recording. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box and we'll try to answer them throughout the presentation. But if we're unable to get to all of them, we'll have a member of our marketing team reach out to you individually to make sure that you get those questions answered. Our newest agent resource, the 2-Minute Minute, is in full swing. The marketing team is bringing you quick ways to talk to more prospects, write more business, and grow your agency. We're posting new videos every Monday and Wednesday, so check out your social media pages, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube to see what you might have missed. Some episodes even reference exclusive offers that you'll want to check out. With that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Don so that we can get started. Go ahead and take it away, Don.
Thank you, Courtney. Good morning, everyone. Don Erickson here with American Independent Marketing. Again, thanks for joining us this morning. We actually have with us special guest from Allstate Benefits, John Edelman, Sales Executive to Benefits Agents and Enrollment Partners. With that, good morning, John. How are we doing today?
Hey, good morning, Don. Thank you.
So we'll jump right in. That's good to hear you're doing well. I know here we've had a lot of smoke and stuff going on. It's actually starting to clear up with all the fires around us. But today we're going to go over Allstate Benefits, the plans they have, and like we've talked, John, just between us, there are benefits that people don't even know are available. So we want to make sure we give them the best advantage and all the knowledge we can to help them with the products, get them up and going. There's a lot of great products, so let's kind of just jump right in.
Sure. Thank you, Don. So I just wanted to thank everybody for coming on today, and we're going to cover Allstate Benefits as far as group products. So these are group products to employers, and a lot of people don't even realize that Allstate does group products. I didn't realize it. I was a broker from 2006 to about 2013, right in the middle of ACA. And I kind of knew that Allstate did something in the benefits market, but I really didn't get a lot of exposure to it. So, of course, we do really great football, Super Bowl commercials and mayhem ads and whatnot. And everybody knows that we do PNC, but the paper that we write on is called American Heritage Life, and they actually started in 1956. So Allstate bought them back in the early 2000s, and they've really transformed the whole benefits division. So when you think of Allstate, the power of the Good Hands Promise, that's the logo. I would say from an insurance standpoint, the beauty of Allstate is that people, especially consumers, know that we've been around as far as car insurance since the 30s, and that just gives people peace of mind that they know that we have the ability to pay claims. But for today, what I'm going to do is an overview of why you would want to work with us, how we compare in the market, products that we offer, some of our generous underwriting, and also new things that we're coming up with so that you're aware of what we're doing. And then when you do run into group opportunities, or maybe even if you're not in the group business right now, it might inspire you to go after some, because there's quite a bit of upside for anyone that's licensed to do this. So just kind of recap what I just said. Why us? Solutions. I'm going to do some comparisons, and I told Don earlier, some of these are my opinion, but also there's data and facts. But anyway, when we talk about this, just keep in mind, if you have a specific question, sometimes I have opinions about things, and we can always take those offline or do those later. This is my why. If you can kind of see, I'm stuck there in the background, but I have a lot of reasons for why I'm in the industry, and I'm fortunate to have been married for 31 years. I have 6 kids with my wife, Leslie, and a daughter-in-law and a grandson and another one on the way. So that's my why personally. So employees, consumers, why would they want to work with Allstate? Why would you want to work with Allstate? You know, we all hear these kind of things, and I'm not a doom and gloom kind of guy, but there's just some facts around health insurance, medical costs, things that, you know, impact people day to day from their paycheck. And so we can all agree that we don't really dream about having medical expenses. That's not something that's usually on the top 10 list. It's usually vacations, cars, houses, weddings, you know, fun stuff. But unfortunately, we don't do a very good job saving money for a lot of things, which, you know, obviously a unplanned medical event would be an emergency. The other thing that, you know, has been happening recently, and we can all agree, is things are just costing more. I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer, but Forbes, this is a recent Forbes article from just a month ago. And again, it's just kind of backing up the same message. So, and the other thing that I would say is, even when I was a broker in the group health market back in the, you know, mid 2000s, I was delivering, you know, 6, 10, 20, 30, 40% rate increases on group health. And it's kind of the same story today. I mean, we're seeing deductibles, out of pockets, all those kind of out-of-pocket sharing, cost sharing, premium, you know, sharing, all that's going up, unfortunately. So again, these are reasons why consumers and employers would look to someone like us to help. And then again, for us, we also pay attention to things like HSAs. I personally have an HSA, and the message with this is that 52% of people who are utilizing HSA style benefits are still not funding them more than $500. I mean, if you look at that, that's kind of crazy when you think about it, because most ER visits are a couple $1,000s pretty easily. And then again, just people put off things. You know, I'm getting a reminder that I need to go in and do my medical screening, you know, and I'm like, hey, I could save so many $100. Well, you know, between work and family and all that, I just need to get in and do it. So it's not really a matter of wanting to do it, it's just making the time. I don't know very many people that want to sit and wait for the doctor, so myself included. And then you know, some recent events as far as COVID and people's desire for other benefits, and their thought process after being home for so long. Donna and I were kind of talking about this. Allstate as a company has gone remote. They've sold most of their physical properties. So there's a lot of companies that are working remote, and it gives people more time to think about benefits and probably things that make a difference to them personally on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so that was the why from the consumer standpoint. Why would you want to work as a broker with Allstate benefits? So we're licensed in 49 states. We just don't do New York. So I apologize if you're a New York agent, that's not going to be something that we're going to focus on. But all the other areas, Guam, we have quite a bit of business in, believe it or not. It's probably a high percentage. The other thing I would tell you is even though it says 2020, I just checked the AM Best, we're still rated that same rating. We're not perfect, but we're pretty darn good. And then as far as policies in force, and then we actually insure a lot of the retailers that you probably recognize. So if you ever dreamed about wearing the blue vest or an orange vest, those are the type of companies that we work with. And the beauty of doing those large groups is we're able to take that and transfer it down to our small group business. So just because we work with a lot of the top retailers doesn't mean that we don't focus on our core, which is actually small business. Obviously, they take up way more of our block. So when you're thinking about us, we have a couple different specialties. Our core products are voluntary. You know, obviously you can see these. Probably the thing that we do best out of the group of these is life, accident, critical illness. As far as disability, and I'll tell you the goods and the bad. we are more of a short-term disability company than long-term. So if you're needing a long-term disability solution, there's some great companies out there. But, you know, and obviously, like we were talking about, I was talking about with Don earlier, different products are available in different states. So again, we're going to have some availability of certain products with certain riders in certain states, and others will have different options. The other thing that most people don't realize that we do is we have a complete medical plan team. We also have identity protection, which is another division of our company. We actually own them. We do legal services, and then we have gap plans. And as far as PPO dental, we coordinate with Emeritus, so we can combine bill both dental and vision through IMED or VSP. And those plans with Emeritus have a enhanced benefit offering. So when you combine bill, it's kind of nice. You could go in, you could actually write voluntary, group health, and dental all in the same group, along with the identity protection. You could pretty much write everything if it made sense for the customer. As far as supplemental benefits or voluntary, the other thing that we have that's pretty specialized, and what I alluded to earlier is we are able to take our plans that we offer the large entities and package them for groups, even down to 3 employees. So when I say GI at 3 apps, what that means is that if we have 3 employees and they take 2 products each, which is 6 products or 3 apps, we can actually guarantee issues. So if you have someone that has a small business, they just need, you know, maybe a supplemental life, accident, critical illness, as long as each 3 of those employees take 2 products, that's guaranteed issue. So that's small market solutions up to 99 employees. And then when we get into 100 to 249, we have the same thing, 6 apps, 12 products. So if 6 people took 2 each, they could get that. And then large group, we have flexible plan designs for 250 and over. We also have a full suite of medical products, and we have a medical team our health insurance team that I can refer if you guys are interested in health insurance as far as what we offer, what states. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And there's a lot of flexibility in that program. So we have level funded, fully insured, self-funded. We do stop loss. We have our TPA partnership. So that's been something new in the last couple of years. Some of you may be familiar with us from our experience in the state of Washington. So Washington passed the CARES Act in 2021. We wrote almost 50 million in life insurance premium in about 4 months. So the reason I highlight that is the average annual premium was probably $300 to $500 per person. So it wasn't huge. I mean, obviously different premiums for different people, but if you think about that, that's a lot of people being insured. And so the reason I bring that up is we built that long-term care rider on our whole life and our universal life plans through group. And so even if people didn't want it, they had to sign up for something or take the state plan. So we were fortunate to have this plan available at the time, and it ended up being sort of a windfall, and it got our name out in the state of Washington. But the reason I bring it up specifically on this slide is this is probably going to be something that, and this is again John's opinion, that is going to happen in, you know, maybe California next. There was ramblings about Pennsylvania. So it's, you know, when it does happen, if we have the product and you have the availability to talk to groups, this might be a very beneficial opportunity. And obviously we'll keep AIM in the loop as far as what we're doing, but we're anticipating California next, and we're filing multiple products in order to hopefully make sure that we place ourselves ahead of the curve.
Yeah, John,
Okay.
with, you know, when you're talking about that product, just in Washington, we both know it was a very large opportunity for us to help clients, that's for sure. And California is so much bigger even than Washington. There's other states that are coming too. So the more information we can get to people, you want to get it before this thing comes in. California, the way they're saying it is, if it comes in 24, there might not be the opportunity if you didn't have it within the year before in 23. So we're trying to definitely promote it and let everybody know that before it happens.
Yeah, I would encourage anyone who, either has an opportunity or thinks they have an opportunity, go ahead and make sure you get all your licensing and everything in place and your appointments. That's what I've been telling everyone that I know, just get ready.
Exactly.
But that's great. Okay, so a little switch gears from that product back to health plans. So you can see we have PPO, Advantage plans, reference-based pricing. The message here is that, again, if you are looking for a situation where you think you might want a medical quote, the fortunate thing is that we can do a lot of different things. And if we can't do them, we'll tell you. We'll just say, hey, this product's not available in this state. I really, appreciate the opportunity. Or, this product may not be as competitive as the other marketplace products. There's certain places where, again, we're very competitive. Other places where we just don't make sense. So, the good news is that we're transparent about that, and we love feedback. So if you're seeing something that we're not seeing from the field, we want to know so we can respond and start to create momentum in those areas. Reference-based pricing, another option. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but the other benefit of, if it works out, if you bundle, we can save percentage points off of the overall. So there's some flexibility there. Again, some groups this might make total sense, some groups not. But if we can get a couple supplemental products in, the dental, again, we do have short-term disability and life. If we package those, you can get up to an 8% discount and you come in looking great. So this is something that, again, back to specifics. This is a Texas-only program. We have a program called Secure Choice for 2 to 50, and it's compliant and has a PBM and Aetna and Cigna. So if you are, this slide is a little bit dated, obviously, since it says Q1. But if you're looking at Texas and you want to see a fully insured plan for small business, that's another opportunity that you might ping us for. And then specifically to Allstate identity protection, a lot of people don't realize, it's more than credit monitoring. I personally have this, and I appreciate it. I always hear those horror stories of people that have had to go through, the litany of whatever bad things related to this. And I hear a lot of success stories on the Allstate identity protection side. So it's just, it's another insurance in the background that is just helping me simplify my life. And I get reports, if I've been on the dark web or whatever, it sends me emails, or if my name's been found or phone number or whatever they're doing. So I feel good that I have this. I also, just so you know, I have pretty much every coverage that we offer just because I believe in it. I think that, if it's something that I could use and we offer it, it makes sense for me to take it just as much as it makes sense for me to help you guys implement it with other employer groups. So I don't just use it. And as a former broker, these are things where I've seen people get claim checks, and that's the thing I love about supplemental benefits is the money goes to the person. It's not just sent off to some carrier, or doctor's office, even though that's where, it's the intention is you can do whatever you want with the money on the supplemental side. So again, identity protection, helping you feel peace of mind, and it's so inexpensive. So The other thing that we do is, when we're talking about Allstate benefits, the other thing that people don't realize is how many different enrollment solutions we can meet up with or match up to. The good news, again, about being part of a large entity, having Allstate corporate or Allstate the brand behind Allstate benefits, is that we have a lot of muscle when it comes to partnering with many different enrollment options. So as you can see, we have Choice Enroll, employers of any size, and we work with, more than 30 leading administration platforms. Some of these are our favorites, some of them not. We can all agree, if you guys work in the benefits industry, that there's some that are a lot easier to work than others, but we have specialists in-house that are our tech team that works to get these things taken care of. We also have Choice Partners, and the other thing I would tell you is that depending on the circumstance, the size of the group, the premium dollars, we also have some tech subsidies that we can afford to put in place. So if it is something where you have a group, maybe they are complaining about their admin fees for text, for enrollment, or maybe they don't have an enrollment platform and we can get the right amount of premium in, we pass that along. So that's something to consider when you're looking at enrollment platforms. We also, I don't want to discount this, but some people don't realize that we have our own enrollment team. And so if you are the type of broker that says, I really love meeting with, the management of the company, but I just don't have time to enroll everybody, okay? Or, hey, I'm down a certain number of people in the office at this time of year, it's November, October, I really need to get these people enrolled. Well, the good news is we have an enrollment team. They're per diem, they're non-commissioned, so you don't have to worry about them focusing on something that you don't want them to focus on, I guess is how I would say that. We're working on your behalf, and obviously there's a minimum, so we have a 25 eligible minimum, but that's for an enrollment firm to come in, do it professionally, handle your group, give you reports, and then also follow up. It's a great value. So if that's something that you're considering, you can always contact AIM and find out more about that. We also do a lot of Ease and Employee Navigator combined now, but we've done a lot of enrollments for them. So we have kind of a streamlined program. I would say that they're probably the top two. When we did the Long-Term Care Act, we used a company called Easy Apps Online, and that was our real push. We did about 33 million through them. And so the reason I bring that up is we have the flexibility. If you have a specific company that you like to work with, if it makes sense for us, we will partner and make sure that we're creating the atmosphere that the employer really is desiring to have. And if we can't do it, we'll just tell you, hey, this is just, unfortunately, this is a company that we've tried to work with, or they are just not going to integrate with our information. And then certain states obviously allow spreadsheet enrollment, some do not. So we don't have to have paper backup. We can do a number of different voluntary, again, this is on the voluntary side, it's not a group health thing, but we can do spreadsheet enrollment. And then I'm going to touch on some new things. Some of them are in the, have been out in the market. Again, we have these large groups that we use a lot of these for, that we've been getting a lot of feedback on. Some of them make a lot of sense in certain markets. Some of them, may not be as a value, but I just want you to know about them so you know what's available and kind of see that the underlying message would be, we're not just sitting here waiting for business. We're actually looking for new opportunities to add value and do things that we see that will put us ahead of other carriers. So Papa, as you can see, it's kind of a tech. It's sort of like a Gen Z, this new mindset of, we've all got issues that we have to deal with on a personal level. And so, like for me, I had to have a situation where I had to put my parents into, a long-term care facility. Well, we have people that need, childcare, and people that need mental health assistance. And so one of the things that we added on our medical side was Papa. And so there's a number of different things that they can do as far as caregiving. And so if you are interested in knowing more about that, again, reach out to AIM. And then if you have a group specific, we would love to be able to give you a proposal and let you know exactly how that works. But these are things that are bundled with certain programs that we have. We also have a credit repair. So again, this is a nice thing for people when they really know that you have more than just their basic core benefits. These are things that are going to help you stand out, and also there's real life stories of people using these things. So credit repair, pretty big deal, especially with scams, and just, I get a lot of AI type offers, and you just have to, unfortunately it happens, and so people need the help. And then Walmart Health. So in the virtual world, there's a number of things that we do. And this is kind of interesting because, the telehealth has taken off, obviously, in the last few years, and there's so many layers to it. So for us, we partnered with Walmart, and again, they're kind of, it's like Allstate, not realizing that they do employee benefits. Same thing with Walmart. It's not really the first thing you think of when you think of virtual care, but they're pretty strong in that area. So again, talk therapy, you've got solutions for people 18 and over. You've got teen therapy. So a lot of, talk in the news about things that kids need. And so again, there's a option there. And then psychiatry. So it's just amazing. I mean, I was kind of shocked about how many different benefits that this program has just going through it. So again, if you're looking at, these are things that typically group health, if you have a group that you think that we need to look at, again, the opportunity, we'd appreciate the chance if it makes sense. And then claims assist. So our goal, really is to make it simple for employers or employees. And so, when you're looking at products like accident, critical illness, hospital indemnity, things that are going to fill a gap, usually when people have a health plan that has a deductible where they're going to have out-of-pocket expenses, this is just an example of how claims assist works. So you can opt in as an employee. You can get texts, emails, things like that. When you have a triggered event, you have deductibles, obviously, and then we'll send out emails, we'll send out communications so that we can make that pathway for the employee to get their money easily. So, okay, so the other thing that we're talking about new, and this is an evolving product for us, we're actually branding Brella under our own name called Coverage Plus, but we didn't want to hold it back from you. So, for like January 1 is coming up soon across the corner. The difference between this product, what it is it's a kind of a multi-encompassing supplemental benefit that maybe some of you have heard of, but it covers about 13,000 conditions that are listed under ICD-10. And so those are diagnosis codes. So the beauty of Brella is between our accident and critical illness programs, if you bought both of them or own both of them, they cover about 95 conditions. So you can see with Brella, it's a kind of a product that would apply to kind of a broader set of circumstances. So again, this is John's opinion, but I kind of look at it like a self-insured health reimbursement, or, so basically I'm trading a small premium for the ability to cover a lot of different scenarios. And so from an employee standpoint, the beauty of Brella, or like I say, we're going to be calling it Coverage Plus, and it'll be Allstate branded, but it's the same chassis. Basically, it's very simplified claims and payment process. So it's using things like Venmo and all these new cash style ways of getting reimbursed, as well as, I'll give you an example. If you go in to the hospital and you're sitting in the hospital and you have your ID bracelet on, you can actually take a picture of your ID bracelet and send it in as proof of having a claim. So it's kind of using the new tech to be able to do things. And it's really an enhancement, I would say, for us, as far as what we see. We're not really seeing it as a competitive situation with us. It's just another solution that some employers or employees would prefer, and maybe they don't want to put in individual products. They just want, kind of one solution for many different conditions. So again, my opinion, I kind of look at it as an insured health reimbursement. There's a moderate, severe, and catastrophic conditions situation. So if you see that moderate conditions, injuries, illnesses that, short visit in the ER, they could pay up to $800 depending on what you choose. And then again, severe conditions pay out to $3,000. That'd be like a tore ACL. And then obviously 1,500 plus catastrophic, life-threatening, those would pay up to 10,000. So again, it's kind of a nice benefit that combines a lot of different diagnosis codes. So if you have a group that doesn't have anything and they're kind of shy about doing this, as far as voluntary benefits goes, this would be a nice little solution, especially for those groups that have pretty much everybody, it seems, except for certain public entities, have large deductibles these days. So it really fills that gap. The other thing that I would tell you, again, this is state by state, is we have a government contract opportunity. So as you can see, there's about 3 million government contracted employees. And so what are these? These are people who, and I had clients like this, they do contracts where it's required that they offer a fringe benefit allowance. So I'll give you an example. I had an excavator that would do work for the federal government, excavating for federal buildings, prisons, things like that. So the employee, they had their, dollar per hour that they were paid, the prevailing wage or whatever. And then on top of that, they had an allowance for benefits. So, and the employer is required to offer these. So the thing that's challenging with any other, thing that's regulated is there's record keeping that's required, and the burden is on the employer. So this is a benefit that we put together, and it combines another accident and critical illness product together, as well as the tracking TPA services for the employer, and it's a composite rate. And so the beauty of this program is that if you have a government contract company, and it can be a lot of different types of services. It could be a cleaning company. It could be someone who, again, is in the construction industry. You don't have to think about physical things being built. You can think of service industries. Those are the type that, if they say, hey, we do government contracts, this might be an opportunity for you. So the benefit from a broker standpoint is, because this is a solution that's bundled, there aren't a lot of companies out there that have availability to this. In fact, most of them, it's separated, so you have to end up hiring an administrator, looking for the benefits, putting those together. What we do is we put the critical illness, accident, and TPA services together to track the fringe, and we can track all the other benefits for the employer. So from the employer standpoint, they get to hand off the liability of the TPA services to a third party. They get to offer benefits to their employees, and it's pretty much, from a broker standpoint, it's participation is 100% because it's a required tracking system that they have to have. So it solves a lot of solutions. So I would say if you're kind of curious about this, or if you already have groups that have fringe benefits, it's something that we should look at. Again, it's only available in a certain number of states right now, California, Texas. It's getting more spread out as far as we're working on Wisconsin, Ohio, Carolina, you can see. And the reason why we started with California, Texas, Florida, DC is these are areas where there's a lot of government contracts being performed. So you could think of NASA, you know, just think of these two. Just a lot of activity in California, Virginia, again, Maryland. So, but we're not stopping. So if you see an opportunity in your state and you want to get some information, or if you just want to see this and kind of see how it works, we're glad to do that. And we're glad to push to get it available in more opportunities where it makes sense. So back to, again, from a broker standpoint, if the employer is funding this and it's a service to both the employer and the employee, and if you have a 50 life group at 110, because these are an enhanced benefit plan, so it's not our standard accident critical illness. It has higher benefit payouts, so the cost is a little higher. But you're looking at that 50 people at 110 per employee per month, that's 66,000 in annual premium. So I think a lot of people would be pretty excited about that. As far as going back, again, my opinion as a broker, that would be pretty nice to make sure that I got 100% participation on a group of voluntary benefit style benefits. Okay, so this is where we get into you know, some of the details. And again, the beauty of us is we're going to compare. If you send us in a group and they say, oh, we already have XYZ, would you tell us why, or, you know, give us a quote? And so we can spreadsheet against all the other carriers as long as we know what products they have and what benefit plan they have. So we're not afraid to do that. So if you do have a competitive situation and you need to know, hey, how do we pay versus, you know, the other carrier incumbent, then we'll be glad to help you understand that. There's a lot of people in the market, a lot of groups in the market. You know, again, just kind of sorting out the top 20%, or, you know, the top 80% in this case, it's the 80-20 rule. We were number 2 in total premium. And the reason why is the number 1 is obviously, you know, at the top of the list there. A number of years ago, they are number 1 in Japan. And so as far as a required benefit of having cancer coverage there, we just don't have that product there. So anyway, but I'm not going to say that we're all things to everyone. Obviously, there's improvement to be made, but we're pretty darn good when you line us up in the big market. And the other thing I would tell you, just so you know, we are not a typical work site company. So in other words, we're not the type of people, we're not going in and competing against you. We don't have Allstate agents that do P&C going after group plans and sitting in lunchrooms and enrolling people. We are really that carrier that you're familiar with, that we support the independent broker market. So I want to just make sure that there's an understanding, because in the old days, a lot of our kind of product offering was similar to the duck as far as the style of the way that we did business, and that was probably early 2000s. But then there was a shift from what you would call traditional work site to more of a corporate carrier style of offering. And so I just want to bring peace of mind that you're not going to see us. We're in the background. I'm an Allstate employee, and my goal is to support AIM and Don and you out in the field. And you're not going to see us with our name tags sitting in a lunchroom in one of your employers. So just wanted to let you know that. The reason I bring up these slides is this is when you get down to where the rubber meets the road. Sometimes when you see comparisons, it's for benefits that people actually don't ever hardly use. I mean, if you think about it, most people have not used their AD&D, and hopefully they haven't. But for some reason, when you see a lot of comparisons, you'll see how a company pays out on AD&D. So we really want to try to highlight the things that people actually use. So when you're looking at what's the CDC claims say, what do we do? These are some comparisons. And again, if we don't line up, we're going to let you know the incumbent or carrier C sounds better in this place, in this area. Some other areas that, again, when you start to compare actual events, you know these things. If you have kids or you're falling off a ladder, or if somebody's gotten hurt, you kind of understand, okay, these are the things I usually see. My little niece, she had torn her ACL, MCL, and some other thing in her knee, and that just that happens every once in a while, but that was kind of severe. So that's not your everyday thing, but it does happen. But again, we're showing you how we line up versus other product offerings. And there's other great companies out there, so I don't want to disparage anyone. Again, a little bit of back and forth on how we pay out on dislocation, fracture, depending on if it's, some companies have open versus closed. Maybe they don't have an outpatient benefit. Maybe the ER, we all know from sitting in the ER and waiting and then getting the bill a couple months later, we're just shocked how much we get charged for that. So it would be nice to get, $500 rather than $50 if we have to sit in there, in my opinion, again. And then, critical illness, things like how many times does a contract pay? What's the benefit reduction with age? Is it portable? So again, our products are portable on the voluntary side. How much time is there required between events? Or same event? Will it pay for the same event? These are just questions when you start to dive in. How much is the spouse and the kids? And is it based on attained age, current age? Do you have wellness? There's a lot of use of wellness plans now that people, it's simpler for them to actually access the wellness benefit. Again, more comparisons. This is kind of getting into the nitty gritty or the weeds, and we don't need to really do that here, but it's just the big picture is to let you know, hey, in the red, we're going to show you some of the differences between us and the other carriers. And again, sometimes things change. So if a new product's come out and you want us to spreadsheet that, we're glad to do that. So there are, we don't know everything, obviously. So if a new product's come out that we're not aware of, we want to see what we can do to help match, or if we can't match it, we'll just tell you. Okay, at this point, Don, if there are any questions, I'm glad to field anything. This is pretty much my wrap up, and hopefully I've been helpful and given everybody a little bit of food for thought on how to go after group.
Oh yeah, great presentation. There's a lot of details there, but I tell you what, it's all good information. There was a question about whole life and final expense. If it's just final expense for the whole life, or if there's more of a traditional or more benefits you can get for like a permanent whole life. Is there anything you guys have with that?
Yeah, so in our group product, it's a traditional whole life product. So it's not really a, final expense design. In other words, it's designed to cover a number of expenses. So I would say if you have a group and you're thinking about whole life, the nice thing about it is we have both UL and whole life, depending on what state it is. We have a number of riders. So what I look at it is that it's almost like an individual policy on a group chassis. So with the generous underwriting, it's not huge face amounts, but there are multiple face amount choices. And so it's going to be more than you can get a face amount that's, I guess you would call it final expense, because final expense could cost you $15,000 or whatever. It depends on what you end up doing. But yeah, it's not really designed as a final expense. It's more of a traditional life insurance program that you could, depending on the group, you could go up to 150,000, 200,000. If it's a large group, we have flexibility to create multiple plan designs.
Okay. Do you know the age band on it, or just something we have to get back to for that?
Yeah, I don't. I can do the beauty is we have.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we have pre-populated brochures, so we can send those out by state, and then you can just do a comparison. Mostly for us, it's smoker, non-smoker, that kind of thing.
Right, easy stuff. Okay, yeah, that was really the only other question. There was someone who asked about it was the dental and the eye med, and so they can get contracted and they can have everything. Sounded like they had something with. They said they were already to sell with Allied or Allstate group, but they were also wanting to get that eye med. I don't know if that was two different things, but
yeah. So if you're looking at Allstate benefits as a company, we bought National General a couple of years ago. So we're integrating, and the reason I bring this up is I think that this person's probably appointed on the health side. So the health side has a couple other, I think it's Beam Dental options. And so as we integrate more, when they are interested in adding the voluntary benefits, that's where the Emeritus comes in. So if Emeritus makes sense and they want to run with that, they can, but they need to offer some voluntary benefits. If it doesn't make sense, then obviously they need to stick with Beam. But the nice thing is right now, we have all the flexibility to do both. So either or.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so only other things that I've really had is like you had mentioned earlier about everyone making sure their appointments are in good order, for compliance and everything. So you're ready to sell. That's the biggest thing. So we always make sure that people, if you want to get contracted, let us know. We can get it set up for you. So what we're going to do is the marketers here will be reaching out after the webinar today and tomorrow to answer any more questions. But with that, I want to just wrap it up for us. John, great webinar. Appreciate you coming on for us. I'll get with you later on. Like I said, if there's any questions, you can reach out to us, 800-672-7202 here at AIM. But we will be reaching out to everybody that was on the webinar today. John, with that, thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thanks much, Don. Thanks, Courtney.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks.
Bye-bye.